Hello, hello. We are doing day 2 today of the let me see what this is called again. Painting the Wilderness Challenge, Seascape Edition. And today 2 is a watercolor Misty Lake. Um just to recap, this challenge is by Colby Bloom, and you can find her pretty much everywhere at This Writing Desk is her username. YouTube, Instagram. I think she has a website. You can find her all there. Um, Today I am going to do the day 2. This is just a kind of bonus stream. I don't know how long I'm actually going to go for, but I was actually thinking if I finish this one early enough, then I can try yesterday's stream again too, because that would be, I would really like to do that. I learned a lot, so I wouldn't mind giving it another try and see if I could actually apply the things that I learned yesterday. So that's the plan for today. This one actually only uses a couple of colors. And again, I don't have any of the colors that she uses. Ooh, I have ordered one and it's on the way. I'll probably get it tomorrow because I need it today. And it's this Prussian blue. Um, it's a bit deeper than the phthalo blue. But I do have a cerulean blue. I don't know if I have the chromium one. That might work in its place. I mean, you can always use, oh no, that's the red shade. I have the blue shade. So I guess I might have that cerulean blue too and not this chromium one. But I can work it out. I can maybe mix like phthalo with the Maya, kind of what I did yesterday to make the Payne's Gray that I also don't have from Winsor Newton. So, but it's a very monochrome painting. I'm going to use the same mix of Maya Blue Genuine and Daniel Smith Payne's Gray. And then I'll figure out the blue or the other blue a little bit later. I could probably clean this one off so I have a place to put it. This is really light and oh, there was more paint than I thought. That's okay. But I can do a mix there. So you just scrape that away. So there's a clean spot. This challenge, I've already watched the video once, and I'm gonna watch it again as I'm doing this multiple times. But this video seems harder and simpler at the same time, and I don't know if that's the case or if that's what I will find that it is, but that's what it appears from me just watching it. So first, I'm just going to jump right in because this is really me to do the challenge than anything else. So I'm just going to wet the paper as evenly as I can. And I think I've sized up a bit too. Yesterday's was smaller, and I think this smaller should be easier, but I'm not so sure that's the case for me. So I just went a little bit bigger and then put a nice big border on this. And Oops. And then I can see, I'm tilting it because I can't see the shine in the lights. And I did turn all the lights on, okay. I just want to make sure it's as even with not many puddles or any puddles and no dog hair. So let's see, she went in at first with a really light value of the, let me turn this down. Hope you can't hear that. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for playing it while doing it. So she just started adding, this is really, really light. I might deepen it just a little bit. She's explaining what she is doing. She's basically going to have like a highlighted area here for the water, and then a mountain and some trees in the background, but she's leaving some white space to get it seen, to make it look misty. So I think I'm just gonna lightly darken this. And then I can start kind of framing out let's see. So the light is going to come like this way, so I'm going to leave that there. Let's see. Okay. I don't want to go too dark too quickly because that was actually that was a problem that I had yesterday. So I'm trying to be very, very cautious with how much pink goes down in the beginning. But I am trying to still have like some variation. And now she's not doing the exact thing, I guess. So this is like my version, I guess, of hers. I couldn't make it come out identical anyway, so. All right. So I just wanted to add a little bit of like where the darker areas are going to be. Just pops of color that are a little bit darker. And I do like having this very jagged indent like into the highlight area. So I'm going to just dry that. And according to yesterday's stream, they can't even hear the heat dryer, so I'm not going to even mute you. I'll just be right back. Okay. Could you hear that? Was that loud? Oh, you're hosting again. You are adorable. Thank you so much. Of course. Always. Uh, could you hear the dryer? Could you hear the dryer? I call it a dryer. It's actually called a heat gun. It's for embossing. And, but it works well in watercolors as well. No noise. That's awesome. Perfect. Okay. So we start out apparently with this like really light, very, very muted background. And then we are supposed to slowly and patiently, not my two strong points in life, add color. And I'm really going to try much harder today than yesterday to do that, because I think it just got, yesterday got so dark so quick, and I really needed to manage the how much paint and the pigment that I was putting on earlier before it got to the point where it was. So I'm going to try that today. I don't know if we'll be successful, but we'll see. But I did good with the background, so I'm happy with that. Now let's see what else. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause it there. So she went in and re-wet the sky. I think she actually did the whole page, but I'm going to try and show a little bit of restraint. And then she started adding a little bit darker. And she's kind of blocking out where this whole mountain area will be. And she's not getting very, very specific with it, because this isn't the final. She's just adding some ideas for where the mountains will be, and then letting the water move. And now she's saying that it's very important to keep this line here, because that's going to be the line of mist. I did not wet that area, so that may or may not be a mistake. I guess we'll find out. But actually, really, I'm going to leave that all as it is. She doesn't have a mountain on this side, but I like it. Okay. And now she's going for the rest. And she's making all of this wet down here. And I am again going to kind of avoid that center line here so I don't lose it. Because I imagine I would have a pretty easy time doing that. I am going to wet it so it blends in together better, and then I'll just remove any paint that's along that line. But I'm going to let this one dry first. I would really like there to be less chance of me messing that up. So once that gets a little bit more dry, then I can go back in. And all right, so now she goes in with much darker values. So I'm going just full in, and this is the same paint that I used yesterday. It's a mix of Maya Blue Genuine and Payne's Gray, both by Daniel Smith, because I don't have the one that she uses. And it's still actually pretty subdued. It looks a lot darker on the palette than it does in real life, but and I'm just gonna let the paint move and create like its own little areas here. And I probably will have to mix more very shortly. I think I do want, whenever you're looking at something, everything that's in the foreground is usually darker. So I do want more solid color up here or down at the bottom, since that's like kind of where you would be facing. So I'm just going to let that do its thing. And let's see, I think she goes further on and mixes even more. And she's kind of continuously going back and cleaning this area, which I don't have to do right this second. I don't want it dried completely so that there's a solid line. And it is actually starting to bleed a little bit there, but I'm okay with that. I just want it to be not as wet. And I'm just letting this go on, and I'm going right past it, so I won't know what to do. But in the meantime, I am going to mix up some more color. And again, I'm just Mayan Blue, which is just, it's really one of my favorite ones. It's so so pretty. This, like, it's almost like alive. But I think it's a mineral paint, so probably it is alive, I guess. But I think that's just gorgeous. And I will come in. Oh. I was deep in that paint well, so didn't want to come off my brush. And then I'll just come in and add some Payne's Gray and deepen it up. And I do not think I will use more than that. This is, I think, like the final color that we're gonna go for. We're not gonna need any more light washes, so I'll move some over here and dilute it with some water so it's not as pigmented. And hopefully it's not too dark, but we'll see. I did today start, let me see if I can grab this, a swatch card so I can test. And this was the color that was on here, and this really light wash was there from yesterday. And then I just wanted to be able to see, and that is a bit darker, but not too much darker. And I'm just going to add it sparingly in these like side pieces. I don't know, ripples, I guess they would be. It looks like she's gone darker, but then I rewound the video, so don't actually know where she is now. Let me catch up. So I'll be able to test the paint, hopefully. Yeah, she went much darker earlier. She went with more, but her paint, her paper is drier than mine is. So now she's just adding lots more. So going in the layers and adding dark. And it looks like she actually deepened up over here too, which is fine by me, but not too much more. And that's actually starting to dry more, even though I just put paint on it. The water control is better, and I'm wondering if now is the time that I should kind of merge the two. It might be a mistake, but I really don't want this to dry and have a line. So just with some clean water. Just going to come in and soften these two areas and kind of try and blend out any lines that are there while keeping it clean. And it did actually, I don't know if you can see that, but it did start to create a line. So just try and remove as much as I can, and then everything else, like, it's just going to get painted on, and it doesn't have to be pure white, it just has to be lighter. So just getting more clean water and trying to pick up as much of that as I can. And then I'm going to dry my brush off and then just get as much water and pigment as I can. I'm not so worried. This paint will eventually make its way down, and this paint will make its way up, so it won't be as stark. Especially as I continue painting. So now I'm just taking some clean water and kind of softening these edges here. Again, we don't want this like white. Just want it lighter. And there's the difference, apparently. I say it like I know what I'm talking about, but I really don't. And I think, so that there aren't any lines, I'm just going to go over this whole area here. And then I can go softly and extend some of these to give it a little bit of life. And I think I'll go into some more dark. And I'm just doing like small lines just to show movement. And I'm going to take some clean water and just go back over this and soften so that the water does have, so the paint has a chance to move. Just lightly soften so it blends down. So there's still a stripe, and I think I'll come in with a little bit more of this. Dilute it a little bit more, but with this more watered down version, and just come back over here. That's actually not too bad at all. Doesn't look as good as hers, obviously, but now I'm wondering if I should dry it or keep going. So let me just watch this a little bit more. And if you want the link for the video, just say so, and I'll toss it in chat. She's going in, it's getting darker, and it's staying wet. So I think I'm gonna start dipping from over here and try and take off as much as I can, and then it's actually not as dark as it could go. So she's really just letting the paint move the way it wants to, but she's keeping the sides darker here and over on this side. And I want to move that out so it gives contrast, but I don't want that bulb at the end, so we'll come back in and soften that. Although I'm sure it probably doesn't matter too much. I'm just going to take a dry brush and just and now she's using a lot more paint. And I'm just taking this and just kind of moving it around a bit. So, okay, she's really going dark again. And I'm just gonna hang back a little bit here. I really don't want to do what I did yesterday. And I know some people did like it, but I could have been happier with it. Which is why I think if I have the time, I'm going to try and do it again today. All right. So she just keeps going in and leaving this white spot and just adding, oh, that got really dark really quick, huh? I'll add it over here where there's more water. I think I have like PTSD, or not really, but I'm contrast shy at this point now. And the other thing I'm noticing too is that she is really building way more in. But I did see this video earlier. I watched the whole thing before starting. And she does come back and then take away a lot of color from this like highlight area. And I'm wondering if I can just like kind of move the color here and there and then not have to take away so much, you know, still leaving it lighter and having you know, ripples where they should and color where it should. I don't know. So I am coming in more, but I'm not coming in with as dark as she is. I'll go back in after. And I think I want actually more light this way. Just moving away. And then I can come in darker over here and kind of let this, there can be some pieces, but I don't think I want it that far out. So it's really wet though, like really, really wet. But hers is really showing a lot of contrasts, way more now than mine. So maybe I'm not going fast enough. Oh. I guess there's nothing to do but just jump in. Right? Put the color down and let it do what it does. I'll learn from it regardless. These are just thin lines because even though it's lighter, it's still not going to be pure white. It'll still have movement. And I want it to be darker along the side here, but I actually don't kind of want the brush strokes, so I'm trying to just tap it in and then slowly spread it. And I think what I'll do is just come into the center and still keeping it light and white, but just move the color a bit so there's like variation. So those lines are there, but they're not like lines. And then just slowly open up the areas that I want. What are we thinking? Thoughts? I just made that a little bit harder than I wanted to. Okay, let me see what she does next, and I'll give this a bit of a chance to dry. Ish. Not dry solidly, but just, you know. Okay. Okay, she did let it dry. So I'm gonna see what happens. I think before I do that, I am just going to, these look very like, no, you know what? I'm not gonna second guess, I'm just gonna do. 1 second. Okay. So now we have a better idea of what we're looking at. And now this is the part where she comes in and she adds some of that Prussian blue. She re-wets everything, and then by her re-wetting everything, this all became muddy and she kind of lost a lot of this highlight. So it's possible that the same thing happens to me. But also now that it's dry, I can see like I don't really have a good blend going from like this contrast to this light. It's just, you know, darker, a little bit darker, and then lighter. Where like on this side it would be like a pretty good blend. So there's like this lighter color here and a lighter blue, and then even a lighter blue, and then a lighter blue, I mean a darker blue, and then lines until you get to the darkest. So this is a better transition of color, and I don't have that here. So I'm gonna just watch what she does a bit. I know she adds the Prussian blue over it, and then she avoids like this center area, and now she's taking off a lot of color. Okay, all right. She wanted to add more blue, and that's why she added the Prussian blue. So what I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I think maybe I'll try with cerulean, and then if that's not a good fit, I can try with the phthalo blue. The only problem with phthalo blue is just an amazing color, but it is that person in your life who you bring them to a party and they just take over. They take over every conversation, they take over uh, everything. And soon it's all about them. And that's what this color is like. Not this one that I'm using now. But I'm wondering if this is too bright a blue to kind of give a wash for. So maybe I'll do some mixing. I think I'm kind of overthinking this, but that is one of my specialties. So I'm going to just see if I can get just a little bit of phthalo. What if I mix these two together? I really want to make this deeper. I don't know if you can even see that. This is a phthalo blue. And it's a beautiful color, but it really just runs rampant. And I want it deeper. So I'm thinking maybe I'll try, you know what? I'm overthinking it. I'm going to add these two together. So this is now a mix of the cerulean and the phthalo. And then to kind of make it more in line with this color, I'm going to add some moon glow. And I'm going to try and go soft in the beginning, so I don't destroy the blue. But I just kind of want to make it a little bit more deeper so it's not as bright a color as compared to what we already have. I just contaminated my moon glow, but it's a dark color, so it's easier. And I think that might do it. It's still bright. The tonal value, like that's blue and that's blue, but this is clearly a different blue. But it's just not so in your face happy, right? It's duller. Yeah. So I think I'm going to just add some water to it. And then see what color we get. It's a pretty decent wash, right? You can even just see what it would be like over. That could work. I think that would work. All right. Now, I think I have to be careful. I'm going to use my flat brush to wet because I don't want to reawaken this. You know, I might not have dried it as well as I thought, but some places still feel a little cool. Yeah, but that's okay. Let me see. Does she wet the entire thing or does she... Oh, I went too far back. I wish you could use like that center like wheelie mouse on your the wheelie wheel on the mouse to kind of like move through the video the way that you want it to. It doesn't work though. All right, I went too far back. Okay. Now she's wet the sky. Nope, she's wet the whole thing. All right. She wet the whole thing. So I'm going to try. I'm going to start at the top here, and I hope I don't ruin anything. I like those shapes and I want to keep them. I'm trying not to like rub. I'm going really lightly. And I'm getting more water each time, but I'm also trying not to have so much water that it puddles. And I don't want to rub over it too much. And now this is the area. Hopefully, I'm not really pulling up too much paint, so maybe we'll get through it. But now I have to just add a little bit more water and then remove water in certain places too because I have some puddles. But I think we actually did pretty good. So I'm just going to dry off this brush and I'm just going to roll it a bit where I see a large amount of excess water. And I'm going to be pulling up paint. That's kind of unavoidable because water reactivates paint. But I'm just rolling it across. Drying the brush, rolling it across. I don't want it so dry, but I don't want it puddly. And come down the side there. All right. And how's the top looking? The top has started drying. So I'm just going to add a bit more water. Hopefully not rubbing too much. Well, I could rub this a bit. I would like this to blend a little bit more. And here too. just so it's not as sharp a line. And then I can go back, fairly dry brush, just wipe away any excess. All right, now she comes in and just kind of gives a wash of this blue. Okay. All right. I really like that. And now she's going up into the sky and she's adding this blue up there as well. So, but she's doing it kind of like way above this line. She's keeping that as fresh as she can. And she's keeping continuously the dark over here where this like mountain will be. And then just adding more blue. So I can't tell what I'm really looking at, to be honest. I kind of want to be a little gutsy. See this color? I took just the tiniest amount. And now it's going to ruin everything. So maybe I just want a little bit of bright just to pop through. That can't really be too bad, right? Just a little bit. Show some movement. All right, I'm not going further than that though. I'm going to let that do what it does. And let's see what hers looks more blue on the bottom, but she uses a different color. So now she's going in, she's kind of really cleaned up this whole area. She scraped away a lot of paint. I'm gonna just add some water here, reawaken this. I'm actually thinking, oh, she's way ahead. Hold on. I'm actually thinking that I just want to maybe put in some more Mayan blue, just kind of on its own, while I have it like this. Maybe a little bit more diluted. Ooh, almost tripped on the painting. Maybe just a little bit more diluted. Kind of get some of that more blue black back than so much of the gray. And then again, I still want to have, like, you know, movement in the water and then a better transition. So maybe this will let me do that. The paper is so wet I can't really see what it is I'm doing. The glare from the lights. I think I want even softer transitions to like here. Maybe that's why she put the color down and then took it away, because now I've really shrunken this area, which is fine, but now I can just come in with some clean water and kind of move it, hopefully, where I want it to. And maybe that's why she did what she did. Although I think it was because she, when she re-wets the paint, it just wasn't dry enough, or it just reactivated in a way that she wasn't really happy about. And I think that's where she came in and took away a lot of the paint. But let me see here. I can't really see because the lights are giving such a glare on it. So I need to wait until the delay in the video catches up so I can actually see what it looks like. And I think I did get a better kind of transition of color there. I think I might actually do that again. Just with the blue. And just around here. And on the other side, of course. But that one isn't as rough in my opinion, so. But I still think there's a pretty decent highlight. But I do want it to go more this way. It's a little bit more straight. I kind of wish it was more like here. But then I'd have to pull all of this color away. And I was trying to prevent that, right? How's that? Okay, I think that's doable. All right, and now she's gone in. I went past where, come back over here, play. All right, so she's picked up all that paint. And then I think she switches to the sky. Oh, this is where she's drawing like a mountain up there now. And it looks like it's dry. And mine is not dry. So I'm going to try and dry just the top. Just like this top area. I do want this still slightly wet. So that it has a good chance to blend, but just the top. 1 second. Okay, It's probably not completely dry. No, it's not. But I think, I hope, I pray that it's dry enough. And she takes a very light value of this additional blue. Maybe a little bit darker. I say that because you can actually see this over, and this stripe here that I kind of ad-libbed in is darker than the rest. So I'm just going to go for it. And hers kind of goes off to the side, but I'm going to come back up. And I am going to go just a little bit darker. And now we have mountain range. Let me see how far down she goes. Down to this misty area. And I'm gonna just make it a little more uneven. And I'm not sure that you can actually see this on the end. Like this one has decent amount. It's not super dark, but you can still see it. Then over here, I've kind of lost it. So a little bit of movement there in the terrain. That looks like you've used pencils. Really? Wow. I think that's a good thing. All right. And now she thinks she lets all of this dry. I'm seeing this. I don't know if I've hit it with my sleeve or, oh, I know. When I'm cleaning the water droplets off. This I don't like. So just a quick swipe of water and a little bit of color. This darkest color. There. And now she let it dry completely, so I don't have a half hour to let it dry completely, so I'm going to dry it again. Okay, and now that it's dry, I can see that I got that dark back in, which is good for the contrast, but then I also lost a lot of that really good transition that I had over here that I lost. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep going. Who am I to say that water doesn't look like that? Well, I mean, I guess it is me that says water doesn't look like that. But now I'm saying water does look like that. And I'm just going to stick with it. Okay. Now she is starting the forest in the background. And that's why everything was dry. So switch brushes. Nope. I think I'm going to go, I'm not sure what size she's using, but I think I'm going to go with the smaller one. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with the smaller one than I think she is. And then, but first, I need to mix up some more paint. So back into the Mayan blue. And I'm actually going to try and go much lighter on the Payne's Gray. That's going to be difficult because it's black and you can't really see how much you pick up, but actually I think that's pretty good. You can still clearly see that it's a blue, but it is a bit darker, deeper. And then yeah, that's really dark, but she does start off with a lighter value first. So I'll just pop what I had in my brush over here with the rest of it and see how light this is. Yeah. And then switch brushes. Okay, so now she starts with this lighter value color. Sorry, tape. And she just starts making a random forest here in the back. And she's just using her brush to give the shape of a forest. And she's doing it fairly light because there will be trees in front of it too. And she's going all the way down. This will just be the trees. Why is my watch yelling at me? Oh, wouldn't you know it? What did I say? I said that I ordered that Prussian blue and I'll probably get it tomorrow because I'm painting this today and it is ready right now for me to go and pick up. And that's Murphy's Law right there. So, but you know, at least I have it now, or I will when I pick it up. Okay. And then she dips down in here and then comes back up. And these trees are going to be the very furthest away that you could see. So they will not be visible as trees. They will just be visible as the idea of trees in the background. She goes pretty, it's just multiple layers. She comes pretty far down. Hers is smaller than what I'm doing though. So the size of the canvas is what I mean. I often say just the words that make perfect sense to me and sense to no one else. And it's a good thing to have people in your life who can translate your crazy. Okay, I want to see how far down she goes with this. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing that I said yesterday I shouldn't have done, and it was a lesson learned. And I'm going to go backwards a bit, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I noticed I wasn't paying too much attention to what she did with this mountain, but she's let this fade in, so it's not as much of a line. So what I'm going to do, probably very stupid, probably, we're going to learn regardless. I'm going to take this smaller brush, and oh, I did put phthalo blue in there too, so there's a chance this won't work because that color does not like to play. All right, I am just going to come over here and try and soften that edge a bit, and I do not know if it will work. But I'm going to try. I wouldn't say this is kind of going back. Well, it is going backwards, but probably not like yesterday's. Like yesterday, I think was too far gone at that point. But I haven't started painting over this yet. So, and then so that they're, so it's more of a blend. I'm going to wet the whole area. It's still going to be lighter. It's still going to be the mist. It's just not going to be as jarring, hopefully. And then I'll have to dry this because I'm going to paint some actual trees. And that needs to be on dry paper to get a little bit of sharpness. But there's still some areas here where there's a very clear line. And I'm hoping if I just keep going over it very, very lightly, it will just blend out. What do you think? I'm actually not unhappy with that, per se. Maybe I can just bring some of the trees that I'm going to paint a little bit further down right here. So this line that is not joking. Ah, it's all right. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. It's better than the line that it was, for sure. All right, so I'm just going to dry that quickly. I like it better this way too, right? It looks like more natural, more proper transitiony. Is that, to make up words and throw them out there? I think it was the right thing to do. I don't think I would have been able to bring the forest down far enough to hide it, because then the the forest would be like literally sitting in the mist, or the mist. So I don't know. I think that looks a little bit better. It's not perfect, but it's a little bit better. So I'll take it. And now I just want to see. Oh, I did see. Now she's telling us that we need to paint what we see and not what we know. So, okay. All right, let me get back in. I'm going to, she just went a little bit further and a little bit darker. Because it's really light in the background and then darker as it comes forward. So I'm just going to fill kind of this area in here, and then not really do too much more. Could come a little further down there with that. Do those look like trees? Trees in the background? I think I just want to make occasional little pointy spears so they look more like trees. I'm probably overthinking it. I'm definitely overthinking it. So I'm going to stop. All right, back to where I was. Just kind of filling in this area here. And not going all the way down, just like that. All right. And then now, oh, now she's going to start with trees. So I need to dry this off. There wasn't that much water, not that much paint, so not that much time. And now it looks like she is using pure Payne's gray to draw the silhouettes of trees. She is starting about, she's leaving a little bit of this mist transition here, and she's kind of starting around this area and then following it all the way across. So I'm going to let her, she sped up the video, and I'm going to just see what she does, and then paint my own trees. Okay. Nope. I'm trying to pause it where her hand's not in the way. There we go. Okay. So I am just going to take some pure Payne's gray, just add it up here. And it's not really watery. It's not too watery at all. I'm wondering, I think that I'm going to go to my smallest brush. I think I'll have an easier time of it. And that was one of the lessons learned from yesterday. Go to the smaller brush sooner than you would. So this is a 1, or could even be closer to a 0, but I'm just going to pick up some of this paint, and then I am going to paint in some stems, and she comes down about here. I'm trying to have variations in size and where they end, some more in the front, some more in the back. Some clumped together. And this is more for me. I'm just drawing the stems of the tree. Oh, I need to move this microphone. I'm just painting the trunks of the trees so I have a good idea of where I want them. And I'm only going to do like little sections at a time. So now, what kind of trees do I want? It doesn't actually matter. So I'm just going to come through and just make kind of zigzaggy lines, and I'm going to let some pop through just to fill out that you know that they're trees without knowing what kind of trees. And there's a big glare for me, so I can't actually see exactly what I'm doing. And this is probably going to take longer because I went with such a small brush. But I really do like painting trees, so it's not that bad a gig. But I do hope that they are coming out contrasty enough. Can you see the difference in the color? Is it dark enough? That's what I'm worried about. That it's not as dark as it could be, should be. Can you see that? Yeah, I think so. It's not going to be as much contrast. Maybe I should have had this really so much lighter, but can't be helped now. It is what it is. I think I actually want the trees to go to the bottom. I don't think I want you to see the stems per se. There we go. I like that better. I like that. And now, next set of trees. Again, just varying where they land. Start here. There's a tree over here too. Make sure I come back and close up this bottom so you don't see the trunk. I think I want this one taller. So just a little clump of trees. Something just happened. What just happened? Okay. All right. I just got a message from a friend. And well, at least she has something to laugh about right now. Okay, back to my trees. This one is going to go further down. And this one further back. A little bit of a space. Really could paint trees all the time. I mean, they're scribbly, but they are quite like meditative. This one's gonna pop up. Big tree. Happy little trees. Maybe we can make one even bigger. Funny thing is when I was growing up, Bob Ross was always on Sundays at like, I don't know, 11 or 10 or something like that. And when I was a kid, Sunday TV was, it left a lot to be desired. It really wasn't all that good at all. You could watch like the Kristen cartoons, which I never liked, but you know, being a kid, there wasn't much else on, so I would watch them. And then Bob Ross was on after that on channel, for me, 56. And yeah, he was kind of boring because, you know, what 7, 8-year-old or whatever is going to really enjoy painting? I wasn't into it at the time, so. But now I wish I could go back and spend all that time watching, because he just made happy little trees. And I would like to know how to make happy little trees now. Or at least, like, you know, better little trees. So she's gone and kind of given the impression that these trees are way farther in the background by just making them smaller. And then she has kind of less trees than I do at this point, but I've bigger paper, so larger scene. So I'm just going to fill this piece in here, varying the size and where they sit, and put the largest one there. So I'm going to start here-ish. Just squiggle my trees in and then go backwards. So I know how to make like a good angle of trees. Like that. And then come back here. And I like that you can kind of see the like points of the light background. Oh no, that's a problem. That's a problem. I'll make it work, but That's a problem. How'd I do? Did I save it? Okay. Mistakes happen. That was a mistake. Oop. I want more pigment and less water. I'm really trying to get these to kind of pop out so that there's some really good contrast there. And here. But my brush is so small, can't have a lot of the paint, as much paint as I need for these larger trees. I'm just going to paint over the tape so it doesn't look like a break. All right. I think I want this one a little bit further down. I'm going to leave it there after I do that. Okay, I think I saved it. Let's see where she goes next. Now she's going to create texture. Okay. What she is doing is taking a fairly light value, and I think I'm going to stick with this brush so I'll have a little bit more control. And let's just see. Yeah. And she is coming along kind of the ground here just to add some texture. She's coming up and meeting the trees and just really varying where she's adding. So it can be like shadows, just texture on the ground. And it's not so dark that it's pulling everything away. It's just adding to it. So that's what I'm going to do then. She's just coming along different shapes. She's coming down into the mists in some areas. Like for that one should be like more of a shadow for the tree. Just adding texture on the ground. Enough to notice, but not enough to pull away, I think. Pull your eye away. I really need to finish my sentences. Holy hell. Yeah. So to add some texture to the background here, this ground, but without kind of destroying the rest of the painting for your eye. So it's supposed to add and not overtake. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm just kind of trying to fill in so it's like the movement makes sense from where the trees are. And I'm not trying. I don't want everything straight. So where I think there's some, where things are too straight, I'm just trying to add in some movement. So it looks a little bit more chaotic, more natural. Like that. Next. Oh no. Okay. We're going back to the lake. And she's using a filbert brush, which I have, but not in the size that she has. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can do this. So she's gone back in and she's re-wet all of this. She hasn't made it too wet, which is what I'm aiming for. But in order to really spread the water around so it's not that wet, you have to move your brush more, which means you're going to move the paint because it will reawaken. Okay. All right. We'll see how I did. And now she's coming in and she's adding more shadow. And then she's also adding some, let's just do one thing at a time. She's adding more shadow. So I'm actually just going to take this Payne's Gray and mix it with everything that's on here. And I guess it'll be dark enough. Maybe I should add just a little bit more. There we go. And she's just adding in some shadows and just more in this area. Okay. So she doesn't do much more than that, but I think in my effort to have it not too wet, it was not wet enough. So just gonna come along like this. Maybe this is a good time though too for me to scoop up some of this blue and try and get back some of that kind of transitional color, but then I just took away the highlight that I wanted at the bottom. I'll just use a little bit of water and soften this out, and then I can scoop up. But at least then I'm a little bit more transition-y. Take some of this blue. And then I can come back here with the dry brush and remake some of these highlights so that it seems like it's more this way. Do you think still a little bit more blue in some areas? And then soften it out with some clean water. What do we think? Yes. I think that'll do fine. I know that there's another, maybe a little bit more. Jeez. Ah. I don't want any lines, so I'm just coming through with clean water to wet everything up. Is that enough movement though? I had more water than anything else on my brush. And now I'll come in just with a little bit more paint. It's really light. And I know that we're going to come back in again, but I do want some interruptions in there that kind of make sense. You know, water moves. So that one was too far. Okay, give that a second and let's kind of come up here again and re-wet this top where it comes down. Try not to move too much paint, especially since I just put it there. And now she coming into with that texture there. She's taking this, maybe a little more water, and then go over it again. She goes over it twice, so wouldn't be too bad. And since I'm not using the same kind of brush, I just need to kind of a little bit more paint. And she's just making lines that come down into the water from like this area. And let's see how far she goes. Okay. Taking a little bit too much there. So now she has a lot of strokes that are coming down. And I want this to dry just a little bit more. I think not everywhere, just where it makes sense. So I'm gonna just hit this quickly. I don't want to dry it completely, just more dry than it is. Okay, I just wanted to kind of get the sheen off because now she comes in with the, what color is on here? Now she comes in with a darker version. Like that. And goes very detailed. Thin lines. So actually, I'm going to switch brushes again. I just feel safer, but I will go up to a, this is a 6, but it has a really nice fine point. So I think I'll be able to accomplish what she's done. This might not be dark enough. Nope. I think I need more paint. Okay. I'm going to dry off my brush a little bit and pick up some more paint and then just take my time. She moved through it really quickly, but I think hers actually come down into the water, but I'm not sure if I can get the break. Well, I guess so. I'm not talking because I'm really concentrating. I have to remember to have them be not so symmetrical. So more varied and longer. And some are like where it's pretty here, it's like really clumped together. Let's see. Do I like that? Do we like that? She even went darker so that it showed up in these like darker areas. So I am not going to do as many as I did before, but I am going to do a little bit darker so you can see like pink and come back in over here as well. And vary how long they are, how close together they are. But more at this point, it's just so that you can see a little bit over here on the water. And this is really dark along here, so I'm kind of following some of the lines that I've had down and just coming through that darker area. And I think you can see some of that, right? Can you see that? Can I see that? Hers looks way better, but I think I spent so much time worrying about this like white thing and the way that I did it that I made it too big. But I'm just gonna, it is what it is. At least compared to what she has. Okay. Now she's adding. Okay. This is still kind of wet, and she's come in with a bit of the darkers. So I'm just gonna come in with the blue. And she's added some texture down here, but I don't know. No, it's not wet enough, so I kind of need to make the shapes the way that I want them to look. But she's only come down here in the front. She's added some texture to the water here. And in these darker areas, I'll probably switch over to the Payne's Gray by itself. So I think this was it here. Well, it's dark enough, so it'll do. And come back over here and just add some of the darker color to kind of give that texture in the water in those darker areas. And very much just kind of, what did she call it? Interrupted painting. because it's not really like a stroke, it's just more of a just touching the brush down. All right. And now she's going to do wet and dry. Wet on dry. So I have to dry one more time. Okay. And I'm just going to take a gander at what she does. Let's see. Slightly darker than some of these colors, but not so dark that they look like stark lines. So okay. All right, she's really varying the colors and where she's putting them. So she's using like the lighter of the colors in the center there and the highlight. Okay. So I would probably have to do more along the lines of the same thing. And I'm going to really dilute this up here. And then this is what I will use for this kind of like highlight area. And she has quite a lot of them. And that should be fine. She's really just going back and forth here. Kind of zigzag type lines, straight lines, and it's just to give movement to the water, but it's not supposed to like really take away or cover the highlight that you have. So it would be another way to add depth without, I don't know, changing the picture. But she has a lot. So it's supposed to bring it to life in a way. Is it working? I don't know. I'll have to take a look at this later. Far away. I get too close to things, so I have to remove myself from it and then look at it from afar. And it's the only way that I can actually see the picture for what it is and not the lines that I've drawn. So I'm going to go a little bit darker, do some of these areas here. I think I did much better though today with patience and slowly building up the color. Not perfect, but better. I think it's going pretty well. And then I'll come back into this, whatever this color is, the darker. I think it's more Payne's Gray than anything else. Yep, quite dark. And then I can add some movement in this area. Not everywhere, because there are some really dark spots. I don't know if these will show up, but she has it in a lot of places. She actually comes up into this kind of mist area too, but I guess definitely have to come in with like a lighter color regardless. Okay. I'll come up here, and this really, hopefully very light, maybe a little bit lighter. Can always go darker. Harder to go lighter. I can add some more up here. It would kind of blend in these lines a little bit better too. I think I have to go a little bit darker on the side. Probably over here. Oh, that was too much water. It's okay. Certainly makes for a better transition without it being, now that it has texture to it. I think I could probably vary just a little bit of the color here and there. And I'm just taking the tip and very slowly gliding it along, so it makes These kind of like really short, curvy type lines. Natural like water type lines, not perfectly straight. Okay. Now I think that has movement. I think that has texture. What's next? Oh, we are done. We're done. We're done. I got water on the... I dropped some water. Okay. I think we're done. What do you think? I think that I could... Not supposed to go backwards. Don't go backwards. I shouldn't go backwards. But I do think if I just softened up some of these lines a little bit. So they kind of faded out more. It's dark and gloomy. I guess it is. That probably didn't do as much as I was hoping. But I'm not really willing to do much more. All right. I'm going to call that a day. And let's see what we have. Definitely need, on one of our errand days, we need to go and get more. Oh, I dropped water. I dropped water again. How did I do that? Okay. I have to go get more painter's tape. So well, off the bat, I can say that I'm happier with this one than I was yesterday's. Can't wait till my nails grow back. Can't stand having no pinch with them. Okay. That's kind of stunning. It's not as put together as hers. I think that's okay though. Take this off. And voila. That's not actually too bad at all, huh? Dark and gloomy in a good way. Yeah. It's supposed to be misty, so I'm not that unhappy. Which is saying something for me. I think I'm gonna do the same thing as yesterday and do my likes and my lessons learned. Let's keep this over here. And, or what did you call them? Loves and learned, right? So again, like yesterday, I like the sky. I really like um, that extra color that I added in there to kind of break up and give movement. I really do like how the sky came out. Sky, always with the sky, right? I like the mountain. I think going just a little bit darker like I did, but not dark enough to pull away from the trees. I think that was a good idea. So I'll write the mountain. And I actually like how much of like this kind of highlight that I was able to keep. I think I did a fairly good job with that. So I'm gonna say the water highlights. And what I learned, trying to be so careful here made it much larger and more distinct, not as blended. Should have a better transition of like this darker color going up and then from this color coming down so that it was a little thinner and more blended. So I think I was trying to be really careful. I know I was trying to be really careful, but I'm not so sure it was the best thing to do. But I learned from it. So I'm going to say less. What should I say? Less something. Less of a gap between the mountains, trees, and the shadows of the water. So less of a gap between land and water. And then another thing I learned is that I thought I had gone in with like a darker color on this like second layer of the trees. So it should have been like light, medium, dark. Uh, I can see like a color value up close change, but I don't really see a good transition. So either those trees in the back could have been lighter or these trees could have been a little bit darker. And I'm actually going towards the further trees could have been even lighter. So, how do I write that? I guess I'll just write it the way I just said it. The further away trees, lighter. Could. Could be lighter. I think that would make more sense then. And then what else did I learn from this? I learned that even though I love this Maya blue color, I might be better off mixing a color because this one, where it's really dark mixed with the paint's gray, it's like pure pigment. It's almost like chalky. So I don't know. I really love this color though. Eesh. Maybe I should go even slower building it up. And then I wouldn't have like lost that transition in this area here. I don't know. I'm not sure what to write down for that. Maybe more layers. Although there's a lot of layers on there. Maybe I'll just keep track of transition better. What else did I learn? I learned that Payne's Gray is not as dark as I should probably get a black. Because even my Moon Glow is like a purpley gray, not a pure black. Maybe I should invest in a black so that this contrast, it stands out more. Or maybe I'm worrying about nothing. It's quite possible I'm worrying about nothing. But if I stand far away, yeah. I guess another thing I learned is that these lines, they probably should have been more wet down here, so that when I did make them, they could have blended more and spread out and gotten lighter, and they wouldn't be so strong where it ends. So it would be strong up here and then kind of fading out. So maybe I need to fade out shadows. Yeah. Fade out tree shadows. Yeah, I think that would have looked better. If I had tried that. Hers looks softer. Maybe I'm worrying too much. And hers are more clumped, kind of together. Mine are more symmetrical. Even though I was trying not to be too symmetric. But I mean, they're trees, so, you know, they only go up and down. Yeah. But I think if this gap was smaller, then these wouldn't have had to be as long. And then they could have been kind of blended in with the water. You'd still be able to see them, but they wouldn't be as sharp. So that's my final, that's what I think. And yeah. I have, let's see, what time is it? Oh, I've got probably like a good 45 minutes, so maybe I can try the thing from from yesterday. Try that one again. This was the one I painted yesterday, and I love the sky. Still love the sky, but still not so happy with the water. So let's give it another shot. I have about 45 minutes, so it's going to be like a really quick version of it, but let me get to that video and sit through an ad, of course, or two ads. And let's get to where she starts painting, because I've already heard all the reasons for all of that. Okay. All right, pause there. I really liked this thick border on here, so I'm going to do the same thing to this paper. So it will be bigger than yesterday's, because this is just half of one. So it will be much larger, but it'll actually be about the size of this paper, with that border. So let me try and get unraveled in the tape and just tape this up quick. I really actually like that border, that size border. So getting it even is the hardest part. Tape. Just pull these underneath. And I'm not going to spend as much time because I don't have as much time as I did yesterday for yesterday's project. But I'm just going to, I kind of have a better idea of what we're doing, right? Because I've already done it once. And I'm going to take those lessons learned and put them in front of my face. So there's a shot of me remembering and learning. And let's see what we can do quickly. That would look nice. If I can get this one to work, that would be really nice. Now watch, I'll get the water to work and not the sky. Okay. Oops. Tossing brushes around. There's a local artisan that does like a lot of like woodwork and acrylic work and stuff like that. And he made me a brush holder. So my wet brushes have a chance to dry horizontally like they're supposed to. Let's see if I can get it out here. It has my logo on it and it just holds all the brushes. So the water and the paint doesn't get into the barrel here. And that's what I use. It's cute. And it really serves a purpose and gets used every day. The unfortunate part about it is that my son can find the paintbrushes faster, and that's not so good. Because this paper is warped, I think I need to tape it down. But let me see if I have a bigger piece of cardboard. I know I do. Yes. Oof, I had to wrestle that one. Okay, but it's not the same size. You know, I think we're just gonna go for it. We'll just tape down the sides as best we can. Hopefully it'll do what we need to do. I taped it crooked, but definitely have to go shopping for more tape. So we have to go back to Gesheim, go to Class Olson. All right, I think that's better. And every time I touch something, I put dog hair on it, which is, when you see me doing this, that's what that is. All right, now we started with the sky first. So, and we used pretty much all the same colors. Yeah. But maybe I'll be a rebel and throw some of that. I don't know. We'll see. I need to move you. Not a good thing for the heat gun to be able to fall into the water. All right, so I am mixing up some more of this paint. And I'm going to have to fill my Mayan blue after this because it's really getting low. I did mention it was my favorite, right? Okay. And bear with me. What do you think about what if I just use this diluted version of just the blue and then brought in some Payne's Gray just for those really dark shadows. That might save me. Where are my lessons learned for this? Oh, right here. That might save me. So highlights bigger to thinner. Yep. So these highlights, whoa. And this is what I mean by the highlights, the yellow that's bouncing in. These should be much thinner, I think, to go from thicker to thinner, going that way. And then don't go backwards, but if I go slower with adding darker colors, then there's a good chance I won't have to go backwards, right? I need to control the pigment better so it doesn't get as dark as quick. And then I went really crazy on, I feel like I went crazy on the highlights. So I'm going to have the highlights, I'm going to have the white. I'm just going to control it better, I think, and not so many sparkles this time. I hope I can get the sky to look the same way because I really do enjoy how that came out. Hi, see Mickey. And I did a fairly decent job with switching to a smaller brush earlier today on today's painting. So maybe I will do that again, or keep doing it. All right. Definitely need to refill my blue. Now, yep. I'm gonna just kind of scrape the paint down as much as I can, so that it's easier for me to have an area where it's more diluted. Okay. All right, let me watch the video and see what we're doing again. I think we wet the whole paper. Oh, and this one has a lot of drying too. So, yeah. And I'm going to have to think about also the, this is going to be larger than the one I did yesterday. So I'll have to keep in mind, like, perspective and how big things should be versus yesterday. I hope I'm not on just autopilot. Although this is only my second time painting this, so autopilot should not yet be engaged. I'm just evening out the water. So there aren't any puddles. And I am going to clean and dry this brush, put it away. I'm going to use my larger brush for this. And I'm also going to reawaken this yellow. And I think this is less I think I want to deepen a little bit of this with the nickel azo. Kind of give it a little bit of a dull, not too much, just a little bit. That really didn't do anything at all. All right. Add some water and get my hand out of the painting. And now I'm just going to add some, going to make it a shape, right? So took care of my painting. And I think this is where I added some new gamboge just to add a little bit of just and then I'm going to clean this off. All right, you can let it dry all the way. I get it. But I'm just going to kind of blend these in a little bit. Maybe I added a little too much of the new gamboge, but we'll see, right? And then clean off my brush and keep this kind of circle area, right? Doesn't have to be exact, but ish. And no, I did not put clean water on my brush, so my dirty water is very bluey right now. Blue and yellow make green, so I have to make sure I clean off my brush. All right. What am I gonna do? Just kind of keep this. I wouldn't mind a little bit coming in. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. So that would add a little bit of interest. And now she dries everything, right? Just thinking that I probably want it going from darker to lighter, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give this a dry. Wait, did she add blue in yet before she dried it? No, she didn't. She wetted it again, right? That's right. Be right back. Okay. Now, I think she wets it again, right? Yes. And then she goes in with the blue. Okay. All right. So now then she comes back in and then just wets the top. So let's do that. And that's so that when you mix the blue with this yellow, you don't have a green sky. I'm guessing that's why. And I don't want to mix it, touch it too much. So let me see here. Okay. So now I'm going to just still use this big brush and then just pick up some of this really light. And I am going to just go with the blue and I'm just going to put it in there. I'm not going to worry too much and I'm not going to move it around too much. And because I don't want green. Oh, I'm going to get green anyway. So I'm going to throw in some more color. I did probably put too much in. But that's okay. We can fix it. We can fix it. She says hopefully. All right. And I think I'm going to dry that. Or maybe I'll just let that dry and move and go on to the bottom here. So that's okay. Yep, she wets the bottom. So I'm going to let that dry at the top and hope that it doesn't turn too green. Okay. I have some puddles of water here, so I'm just trying to soak up as much as I can without moving the paint underneath. All right, so now this is when we go in with the lighter blue here. And I've just let the video go, so she's way, way ahead of me. But not a problem. So how did I not make green yesterday? That's my question. Maybe I was more careful. Maybe I used less yellow. Okay. I have some green coming in under here. All right, and I was not paying attention and I let the video go. So did she dry that or what? She does not say. Let me watch this. Okay. I just grabbed some more blue paint while I was watching, so I had something to do. And what she's done is come up and she's drawn a horizon. So she's wet this here, and oh, that's probably more than I wanted to. I wanted to not be so straight as I was yesterday. So hopefully we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to go to the 6. And I'm going to reawaken this because she uses just the Payne's Gray at the top. And I'm just going to draw in very lightly this horizon. And okay. And then she just goes in with some clean water and fades that out a bit. So, yeah. And she reinforced some of the color here. I'm gonna blend that out. Like that. Actually think I could probably use with a little bit more up here, but I think I'm gonna switch to, I'm gonna come in with the blue. Just along the sides here. I don't want to push it too much into the yellow because I don't want green. So I will come back in with the black. The Payne's Gray. A bit. Just helps us out a little bit, and then move it and blend it out. I just want to bring this down a bit more. Ooh. And then soften it. Okay. Now what did she do next? You would think I remember it, but I don't. Okay. All right, this is when we start doing the layers and drying in layers. So, oh, and this is wet. So I'm actually just going to take, I'm going rethinking what I said about having just that blue without the black Payne's Gray. And I'm thinking I will end up with a green mess if I don't change what I'm thinking of. So I'm going to use a mix of these. And then we're just going in and adding layers of the blue. I'll definitely have to mix up some more paint though. Trying to just stay with what I had before, and now I just made it green by dipping into the yellow. And now as this goes bigger, I am going to just clean off my brush and grab clean water and get this center area wet and blend these edges at the same time. So that it so everything is wet and the paint and water can do its thing. Okay, and I'm gonna take some more, come back over here, add in the Payne's Gray, and grab some more of that Mine Blue and throw it in there. So it's bluish, darkish, yep. And yeah, we're still in the same color value. So this is where I wanted to have like bigger sections of yellow, and then as it came down they got progressively skinnier. And since this is the start of when we're kind of drilling down, I'm going to kind of make an idea about where these highlights should be. So thicker, medium, and then as I add more color and as I add more layers, I'm going to shrink that. Oh, 1 second. Okay, now does she do drying first or does she keep doing wet? She keeps doing wet and she just gets progressively darker. So let's do the same. And hopefully, I'm just testing to see how much darker. And I'm doing it at the bottom because those will always be the darker. So she's actually much darker than me, but I am going to be patient and try not to push it as much as I did yesterday. I just added in a little bit more Payne's Gray because I'm noticing some kind of green like tinges there, and I don't want that. So, and then I'm just going to add kind of water movements. Keep coming in from the side, and then this should be where these start to get thinner, right? But maybe still have a bit of movement. But right now, everything is still very straight. So I need to start curving and making it look like real water. Okay, now let's see what she does now. Okay. Just cleaning and adding some more of the yellow. I'm gonna leave that pretty pale at the end there. Okay. Now we're drying. But before we do that, I think I want a little bit more. This could be a mistake. Let's see. But I just want to kind of see if I can get back. Not get back. Like the dark moved more than I wanted. So I'd like some of those lighter blue areas back. But without making green. So, you know, not trying for miracles or anything. Yeah. So at least that now I have a bit of a chance to go a little bit darker, and that just missed it. But trying to learn from my mistakes. Oh, there's a dog here in my painting. Haha. Oh no, there's another one. It's really trouble when your dog likes to sit under a desk all the time. Because then dog hair gets everywhere. All right, so I think I've got some of those lighter blues in. And I just need to try and keep them, right? So when I do go dark, I just won't go as big. All right, dry and see what the next step is. Okay. All right, so we got a lot of that light back, which is really nice. I think we'll have some massaging to do later, but that's okay. So this is when she starts going darker. Okay, this is the, I'm just going to go really light. I'm going to pick a couple of areas where there's some really like a dark section, like here, and here, just where there would naturally be like a darker wave or whatever. Not, and now with the rest, I'm just going to fill in this area. And make some wave shapes. And then the rest was just going to be kind of rounded squiggles. But like, so this will be like a section. This will be like a section. So where it's like darker. And this is going to be where it's like thinner. Actually, wouldn't mind going a little bit lighter. So trying to keep the highlights, and then remember that they're thinner and then getting thicker. And Want to show movement in water, right? So but now I'm going to go up at the top here. I'm going to add a lot more water in my brush. Come up here. So it's not as dark. And there are some small interruptions. Right. And the further away they are, the smaller they are. And the closer they are, the bigger they are. So is that going in the right area? Yes, but I think I want to kind of funnel it down a little bit more. So I think I can add some more. This is just Payne's Gray, and I'll add some more Lime Blue. If I have any, oh my goodness. Okay. And this is still too dark, so I'm going to add some water because I think, yeah, that's like final dark kind of color. So I'll dilute it more up here. And I don't mind using like dirty water for this because the water is Mayan blue essentially. And I might be able to get a little bit of the tint of blue in there without adding more paint. Yeah, okay. So let's see what she does now. Oh, she's going darker. I don't know about that. I think I'm gonna figure out, so we did figure out this is like one section here that's gonna be very clear cut, like wave kind of area, and I think I need more of them. So I think up here should be one. And then where does it make sense? Like here. So these areas are going to be like more solid color. It should be down here too. And then I think, again, I'm going to delete some of this so it's much lighter. Not much lighter, but some lighter. And I think I'm going to kind of funnel in, because right now it's very uniform. So I think just going to where some of these smaller sections are, or where these more solid sections will be. I'm going to leave that one there because I like that. But I'm gonna shorten these a bit. And I don't really know what I'm doing. Don't listen to me. I'm just gonna try and, so they're not like just perfectly straight. I don't really think I'm actually doing that good a job at it, but I'm gonna keep trying. And then this should be just a small glimmer. We'll put it on that side. This should be small too. And that can go over there. So just kind of making the highlights move. And I'm trying to use lighter paint so I still have lighter paint values showing through. So thicker, thicker, thicker. This one should be a little bit thinner though, right? So I'm going to add some there. There we go, right? All right, now I'm going to go very sparingly, she said, hopefully, and just add in some of, like, where it makes sense. So here, I mean, I will add it everywhere else too, but I think my very diluted version came down and melded. So I don't know. Am I learning from my mistakes? I'm really wondering now. Guess we'll find out. Ooh. No. Well, maybe now. I could add a nice little wash of this blue in here. Various places. Not where there's yellow, so it doesn't turn green, but just enough to make it a little bit more blue and not so black, right? I'm trying not to like mix it in up there, just have spots of color, but I don't make green. Believe what mistakes? I believe they are called happy little accidents. I don't know. Maybe they are. I'm trying. That's all I can do. And so far, I'm still lighter than here, but I have many more layers, so I don't know. And I'm thinking I should maybe dry it. I know I just put that there, right? And I'm taking it away. I'm getting paranoid. The other thing that I kind of want to do is these are lines and they're sharp, and I'm not sure that I really like that. Oh, but I'm going backwards. Stop. Okay. Moving on. I'm going to dry it and let the dog out. Okay, and I just saw the time. So now I'm going to clean with this brush and switch to my smaller one, and we'll go darker because now I've run out of time. So let me see what she's doing. I think she goes back up into the sky, and I'm not sure that I'm going to have time for that. So she's just kind of more defining these, just more. All right. Okay. Now she is gone smaller, and to be honest, I'm not really even paying attention right now anymore, because now I have the time in my head. So I'm just adding some darker where I think it needs it, and kind of scribbling for movement. And I thought I would have enough time to do this, but it's quite clear that I can't estimate to save my life. Do want the sides there darker though. And I need not so much straight movement. Maybe I should just keep it like this, but then make my movements like this. And I think they still go straight, but it's going to be better than nothing. And there'll be like little sections where there's more. And I need to just I have a thing of paint right here that needs to dissolve. So I just needed water, no paint. Okay, and a darker. It's not as dark as I want it. I want to make little ripples through. Kind of add in to break up, so it's not just complete yellow. I'm gonna try and add some darker kind of accents like underneath the this like wave highlight thing. So yeah, that's my alarm to get my son. So we are on very short time. All right. I think I need to, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, or maybe it will make sense to you, I don't know. But I am gonna go a bit darker in certain areas on the side because I wanted to have like sections, right? Where there's like very clear, very clear areas where there's like darker. My dog really wants to get out, but now she has to wait. So this front will always be very dark. And then you can slowly bring it up in here. Not consistently, hopefully. Like not too, everything is always dark, like in the same way, not symmetrical. That's what I mean. It's another section up here. Okay. Did I accomplish having smaller sections? And I would say down here, I did not do as good a job as I wanted. But that helps out a bit, I think. So I'm going to leave that exactly as it is. And I'm going to use my smallest brush and some clean water. I'm going to wake up this white gouache. I know, Simi, stop, please. She keeps nudging my hand. Trying to get my attention. And I really want to give her my attention. But I literally have 2 minutes to finish this. And end the stream, and then go and get my son. So I will happily pay attention to her after. So I wanted to go smaller with the white as well, right? So I think I'm just going to put some dots instead of like the lines. And I'll put like the dots everywhere there's a section where there's a highlight here. But I'm not going to put as much of the sparkles. I'm just adding the dots in kind of sporadically, different sizes. I know. Oh my goodness. Now my phone is stressing me out. Yeah, different sizes, different places, different shapes. And I kind of did like yesterday how I had some small areas on the side. Even though it's dark, it doesn't mean it can't catch some light, right? So I think I'll do that again too, just various places. And I don't want to get my hand where I've just painted, so just going to add some dots here. And then I'll do the dry brush thing that she's done. And move it up and out and away. But I'm not going to do as much. All right, so I'm going to try off this brush, grab some more gouache so it's very dry, and then just insert in places. It's probably too dry. Just in certain places. I'm going to extend it up and down. Here and there. I think that will be easier. Easier on the eyes anyway. So there's still sparkle. There's just not as much. I'll do a little bit more than 2, but you also want to get it so that there's contrast, right? So I don't want to make it too uniform. And I'm afraid that's where it's going. I will add a little bit down here. And I think there. I think that's what I'm going to call a day. There we go. Now we're done. Good morning, Kaylee. Kaylee Athena. I'm sorry, I just tripped over that. Lovely, thank you. This is my attempt at trying to improve from yesterday. I'm not sure if I actually did, but I like to think that there's lighter in there than all as dark as this. I don't know. Lurking from work. I am actually just headed off because I need to grab my son. But so we've got this one, and this was today's image. Day 2. This was this one, and then this one was just trying this one again, which I haven't really made up my mind yet on that. But I'm going to leave you with this one. Thank you. I hope you have a great day too. I need to go and get my son and then start cooking dinner and etc. So, I'll leave this here. And thank you for joining me for my little bonus stream. And I will be back on Friday. I'm not sure about the time. Don't look at the schedule. what the schedule says, because I'm not 100% sure about the time. But I will be back on Friday. Thank you. I'm actually pretty happy with this one too. Um, it was a lot of fun as well, and also learned a lot from it. So I'm really sorry to just jump away, but I must, because now I have to go get my kid. So have a great day. Like always, take care of yourself, take care of others, and I will see you on Friday. Bye bye.